Hi, Abby.
Hi.
It's really nice to see you all the way out here in East London, part of London that I've never been to. So thank you for showing me this area.
You're welcome.
I believe that you are a maker and a writer. Would you tell me a little bit about your work?
Yes, as a maker, I make things with my hands. I've made props, I've made things for theatre, and I craft, I knit and I sew, and I make things with the community crafting, making things out of junk. I'll have a go at anything. Jewellery, clothes, wind chimes, found objects. I'll string them all together and make stuff.
So do you do commissions as well?
I have done. Mostly it's sort of things that you would have in some sort of community environment, so a craft fair or something like that. I made myself a wooden table, which I was very proud of. And stories, I write stories. I have written drama for theatre. I've written for TV. And I have also done things like window dressing. So for me, the common denominator is the telling of a tale or
Right.
the story.
And you're a creator,
Yeah,
essentially.
basically.
And I cannot help noticing how gloriously grey you are.
Thank you.
And it really is. I mean, it's a fabulous colour, and it really, really suits you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that that journey that you took. Was it something that you thought about consciously, or did it happen? How did it go for you?
As a precocious teenager and a kind of punky young girl, I had my hair colour was all sorts. Pinkissimo was my favourite, which was a bright pink. I had a Mohican. I did all sorts of things to my hair. I used to waffle it with crimpers in the 80s till it kind of broke off. So I was never particularly kind to my hair, and I didn't mind what I did to it as a youngster. Then I think as I got older and I looked at my mum and my aunt, her sister, my aunt had this kind of wonderful helmet of silver hair that she would go and get set every week at the hairdressers, because women did in those days. They wouldn't get it cut necessarily, but it would be set into this kind of, as I say, helmet of silver. And my mum had what we call a Malin streak of white in her salt and pepper grey.
Oh, right, just like a white.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very
And
distinguished.
I'm not aware at all of my mum or my aunt colouring their hair. It was never a thing. And they just had this salt and pepper hair. And I think a few of my friends kind of commented to me, oh, that'll be you in a few years. And it wasn't like, a pejorative thing. It was just like, isn't that amazing that their hair's like that? So I thought, well, that's fine. I can live with that. And I'd also got to the point where I wasn't kind of in love with the idea of trying to turn back the clock as far as aging goes. I think from quite early on, I believed that you got old and that was okay. As long as you kind of had your health. It's terrible to be getting old and failing in your health, but certainly looking your age, I didn't really foresee a problem with that. And so I think it was it just felt like a natural journey for me to just go into grey. So there was never that conscious decision of I've been colouring my hair, I've now got to stop. Because I just went from kind of punky through to kind of salt and pepper, and then I realised that it was like this.
Wow. So you weren't concerned about what other people would say. Aren't you too young? Don't you look old? Didn't that bother you at all?
Um, it didn't. And I don't know whether that's just the kind of circle of people I was hanging out with, or I can remember one or two people. My friend's mother uh, said she was quite shocked when she saw me after a long time and said, "Oh my God, aren't you grey?" As if it was like the worst thing ever. And I was like, "Yeah," but other than that, again, I think it was quite accepted that that's a choice you make.
Yeah. So you didn't feel like, as a woman, you had a duty to conform and be like other women who have been taking care of their color and being vain about their whole appearance.
I'm certainly vain about my appearance.
No, no.
Yeah.
Please don't take that.
No. I mean, I think that's almost like, it's like an inverse vanity, isn't it? I didn't want to be in a position where I was worried about roots. I was worried that I was suddenly, graying at the sides, or had a kind of zip down my head that I would feel, oh, I can't go out next week because I haven't done my hair. I really didn't want to be held back by that.
Right.
That was more important, I think. And what anyone else thought about it, then that's up to them.
Okay, so you've just been doing this, and you've been doing you.
I have.
All this time.
Yeah.
And do you think that people treat you any differently? Would you say, I'm not talking about the man in the street. The guy, people who just pass you by. Do you think that they treat you any differently?
It's actually quite interesting because I'm 58 now. I guess when I was turning 50, I was maybe not as silvery grey as this, but it was certainly grey. I think people assumed that I'd coloured it like that.
Okay.
Because I perhaps looked younger, or had a young kind of energy.
Yeah.
And they'd say, "Oh my God, your hair's amazing." Not kind of where did you get it done, but the assumption being that I'd done something to make it grey. Yeah.
But so, do you think that people look at you and sort of give you this sort of, oh well, there's an older lady coming along, or I'm not saying you look old,
No.
You really don't.
Yeah.
But some people just look at the color of the hair; they don't look at all the features, and they think, okay, grey equals older.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I was working in a retail environment with, I'd say it was quite a young team that I was in, but there were certainly three grey-haired ladies on that floor. People would get us all mixed up, of course. I was one of those three grey-haired ladies, so I'd get called by the wrong name. And that was purely because younger people perhaps see grey.
Yeah.
And we all get kind of lumped together. It happens.
Older
yeah. Yeah.
And does your partner, you told me you have a partner, was he already grey were you already grey when you met? Or was it something that you...
We were so young. We've been together 37 years this year. So we were dark chocolate brown curly people together, and we've done essentially the same grey journey. Yeah. So he looks, his hair is very similar in colour to mine now. It's never crossed his mind, I don't think, that I would do anything other than just be me. Yeah.
Which is really all we can be.
Yes, it is.
Because if you're not going to be you, who are you going to be?
Exactly.
Well, it's been really interesting chatting to you. Thank you so much, Abby.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for spending time.
You're welcome.